If you're running paid ads on any platform, one of the biggest challenges is truly understanding your ad attribution. Ad attribution is understanding where your leads actually came from, where your booked appointments actually came from, and where your sales actually came from. Ultimately, without that data, you're completely flying blind when it comes to running your ads. You'll leave ads or campaigns on that are not actually driving the results that you want, while starving the best performers of budget simply because you can't see the data. Now, ultimately, that data is readily available for most people if you use UTM parameters. However, the challenge can be that digging for that data, tallying up those options, and trying to connect the dots is very time-consuming. So you can waste hours and hours every single month trying to make real data-backed decisions, or you can use this set of attribution automations that I built inside of GoHighLevel to do it all for you. Let's dive in. I'm going to show you how the attribution system that I've set up in our automated snapshot is going to allow you to have data-driven decisions every step of the way, regardless of where you're running ads. Even if you're not running ads and you are doing organic content or other forms of marketing, this is also going to track those efforts. So what exactly is attribution? Simply put, attribution tracks and assigns credit to specific actions in your sales process, from when a lead first enters your system all the way to when they make a purchase. Attribution automations make this tracking happen automatically, allowing you to identify which marketing channels, touchpoints, or actions have the biggest impact on driving the conversions that you want to see. Without attribution, you're flying blind. You can't see which ads, emails, or even which lead magnets are actually driving results. Attribution automations solve this by giving you full transparency on which actions are making a real impact, so you can double down on what's working. For example, if you know that leads from your webinar are converting at a much higher rate than those from a specific ad, you can prioritize your webinar marketing efforts and optimize your budget accordingly. With this information, you're able to spend smarter and close more qualified leads faster. Now let's get into the how. In this snapshot, we have our attribution automations already set up, but there are some steps that you have to go through manually in order to connect this. Here's what happens. Tracking leads. When a lead enters your system, whether it's through an ad, email, or direct message, our attribution automation system will track that entry point. The lead is tagged with the source so you know exactly where they came from. Every time that lead engages with your content, the system automatically logs that activity and assigns it to the appropriate campaign. This helps you measure which touchpoints are actually driving conversions. Every time a lead books an appointment, that is then updated on the spreadsheet. If they make a sale, it's updating them on the spreadsheet as well. When a lead finally converts, say they make a deposit or purchase, the system is going to track that action as the final touch point as a closed deal. Then it's going to add the data from their journey, like what campaigns they interacted with, and attributes full credit to the right source without you having to dig for the information manually. Now, in order for this system to be possible, you do need to be using UTM parameters in your ads or organic content. That's a totally separate thing. It's ultimately not that complex, but I do have other videos on UTM parameters that you can check out to learn more. Now, before I dive into the automations, this is what our spreadsheet looks like. Now, it's critical that you have the exact spreadsheet that you need with the exact formulas that you need in order to make this happen. Now, this is our dashboard tab. This is going to allow you to put a start date and an end date here if you choose. We ultimately have summary metrics that are pulled from the additional tabs in this document. It's going to show our total contacts, our total appointments, the number of appointments that showed up, the total sales, total revenue, total spend, overall customer acquisition cost, and overall cost per acquisition. Now, the most important thing it does is it breaks this down by campaign. So ultimately, I've always had attribution automations within GoHighLevel, but the problem was you still had to go in and tally everything up to understand how many leads came from this specific ad and ad set, how many appointments came from this, then go back and try and understand, did those appointments show up? Did those appointments close? So even with the automations that I went through in one of my previous videos, you still had to do some manual legwork. It was better than nothing, but ultimately this takes it to the next level. These campaigns are going to be auto-populated through our lookups option. If you are running a new campaign, you're going to go ahead and add your campaign, your ad set, and your ad. It's critical that you put the exact parameters that are going to come from the UTM parameters in your ad, your email link, or your organic social link. Once you have those, it's then going to be able to add them to the dashboard and then attribute number of contacts, appointments, showed appointments, sales, and revenue to this campaign based on the spend of that campaign, and then allows you to see the exact cost in terms of cost per appointment, cost to close that customer, and your return on ad spend, which is critical. On our spend tab, you need to plug in the amount that you've spent on any of these given campaigns so that it understands how to calculate your return on investment, your customer acquisition cost, your cost per appointment, and so much more. Now, the contacts tab is really what makes all of this possible. This is what our automations are going to be feeding into. So ultimately, when a new lead converts, whether that's an opt-in, an appointment, or a purchase, they're going to come into this contacts tab. It's going to show us the date that they were added. It's going to give us their name, email, phone number, their first attribution. So this would be the first thing that they did within your system that brought them in for the very first time. For example, this might be December-promo. Our attribution ad set or ad group is going to be, for example, cold audience, and then our ad is going to be, for example, video ad 1. Now, last attribution is the last thing that they did before they converted on that action. Sometimes first attribution and last attribution are the exact same thing, but not always. Studies show that contacts need multiple touch points in order to truly convert. So someone who opts in may not book an appointment right away. They might get several emails first and convert through that email. They might see a retargeting ad and convert through that retargeting ad. Or maybe it's an organic social media post that finally gets them to take that next step. The same thing is true with purchases. What brings someone in is not always what makes them convert on your highest level actions. So we want to be able to see what brings people in as well as what converts them. Now, ultimately, if you have an appointment-based sales process, it's going to show when their appointment date is if they book an appointment. If you actually mark this in the system to say this lead showed up to this call, it'll mark as showed, no show, canceled, or it has not happened yet. If this lead actually closes, it's going to mark that yes, they're sold with the sold date, the payment amount of the transaction that's come through GoHighLevel, the payment type, and any notes as well. This all populates on your dashboard to give you a full, crystal clear picture of your ad attribution at any given time without having to spend hours and hours digging for the data. Now let's walk through how these automations are actually set up. The first one is for our new contact. We are adding this to the spreadsheet. This is going to be based on a form typically. If you're running lead forms, you could add this in as well. We are then going to create our spreadsheet row. We're going to have our right now date, contact name, email, phone number, and we'll add our attribution lead sources, our mediums, our ads, and for last attribution, we're using the last attribution sources, last attribution medium, last attribution content. Now, we don't do anything else in these additional columns for this automation because ultimately all they've done at this point is opted in. Now, if they take the next action, such as booking an appointment, we also want to make sure this is updated. We don't want to add another contact because that's going to skew our data. We simply want to update the original contact. Now, this is based on appointment status. It's going to look up the spreadsheet row based on their email and phone number. Then it's going to go in and ensure that their appointment start time has been added and that the appointment status is confirmed. This is going to keep your data so much cleaner. Next, we've got our no-show workflow. Ultimately, I hear a lot of times from clients and students, as well as see this in our own campaigns, that there are certain ads that actually drive no-shows at a higher rate. You want to know this because even if your cost per appointment is really good, if most of those leads never actually show up, you're wasting time and money. So we want to also look up this contact by email and phone number. And then we want to make sure that we simply update their appointment status to no-show. Next, we have our appointment completed workflow. This is going to be based on that appointment status being marked as showed. We are finding them from email and contact, just like we've done in our previous workflows. And then we're going to mark them as showed in that appointment status column. Finally, our highest priority action, payment received. Now again, in order to do this in HighLevel, you have to be taking your payments through HighLevel, which I strongly recommend because ultimately the only way to fully automate all of your processes is keeping them in one system that can do it all for you. It knows every action the lead has taken without the need for a lot of third-party integrations. So we are also going to go back. We're going to look up our contact email and phone number. And then we are going to say, yes, they were sold. We're going to insert the date that this is actually running. And then what is that total payment amount? If you do this based on specific products by using conditions, you can also insert, is this a pay in full? Is this a payment plan? You could also do this by having if-else conditions based on the total value of the sale. And if you want to add notes, you can do this as well. So ultimately, we also have an in-appointment or post-appointment tracking form within this snapshot, which also ties into this based on what that salesperson reports, if this is a sale where a salesperson is present. And it's as simple as that. By knowing which sources and which platforms are also driving the highest priority actions, you're going to be able to optimize your marketing, your budget, and get the best possible results in the least amount of time. Maybe your Facebook ads are generating leads, but they're not booking appointments through the email sequence or text sequence that you're going through. You're going to be able to identify the exact part of your funnel that you need to optimize so that you can make sure that you're not reworking things that were already fine. By setting up appointment attributions and lead attribution automations, you're going to be able to measure your marketing efforts in real time and make adjustments that help you close more deals and increase ROI. The best part is that it can now be fully automated for you. No more manual tracking or guesswork. If you're ready to build out this system for yourself, go ahead and get started with a free 30-day trial on HighLevel, along with many bonuses when you use my link. That's going to be in the description. Or if you're ready to get all of these snapshots and templates provided to you with hand-holding as you set them up, launch them, and optimize them, click the link in the description to book a call with me or my team so we can see which option we have, whether it's done for you, coaching, or mastermind, is going to help you achieve your goals in the quickest, easiest format possible. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up, share it with someone who's struggling to understand the impacts of their marketing efforts, and make sure that you subscribe so you never miss anything new on ads, HighLevel, automation, or AI. I'm Allie, and I'll see you in the next one.